Yo, welcome back everybody. I hope you guys are doing well as always. I know it's been about a week or two since I last uploaded. I just got a little busy with like holidays and stuff like that. We are back now, and today we are talking about Devstacks. Now, Devstacks recently on Instagram posted a story that he is dropping his new album pretty soon. I'm a really big Dev fan, so I'm really excited to hear what this album is going to sound like. For today's video, I just kind of went with like the pretty classic Dev type of beat, just like the beautiful strings, some really hard drums, but kind of keeping it pretty simple. So yeah, without further ado, this is how to make beats for Devstacks. Alright, so for this first sound, we're going to be in Xenology, and I'm using the full ST brass preset. This melody is really just two chords that kind of repeat over and over, and then there's just like an additional little top line note that hits at the end of every 2 bars. On the effects for that, I just have this EQ to kind of cut the lows out and duck a little bit of those mids out. Next, I got one of these pulsating sounds from A-Shark's Evolution 1 sound kit. This is the Strobulation preset. Basically what I did with this is just kind of added a bunch of like arpeggiating notes, and then I turned up the release knob in the envelope like way up so the sound kind of bleeds over and it almost creates like a pad. And on that preset, you'll probably notice that it's kind of like chopped. So the way that I did that was just with this Portal preset, also from A-Shark. It's the Walk Down preset from his Hammerhead Portal Bank. Then I also just added this EQ to cut the lows out. Next, we just got that simple like brass hit. This is also from that A-Shark Evolution kit, and it's the G-Feld Stab. For this MIDI, I just put a note on each one of the root notes. Then I added this sort of like top line piano kind of pattern, and this was also from that A-Shark Evolution kit. It's the Trusty Piano, and I really just laid down these 4 notes that just repeat across the whole thing. A very generic pattern, but it fit pretty well within the other sounds. The EQ for this one, I just took out the lows and then kind of boosted the high mids a little bit. Then we've got yet another sound from that Evolution kit, and this is the Theramax lead. On that one, again, we just have a simple EQ to cut the lows out. Then I added just this regular yeet bell, but I wanted to make like a kind of unique pattern with it instead of just using it as like an accent. So this was the pattern that I came up with. And then again, we just cut a lot of the lows out. Then I had to add some sort of like high-end string, so we're in Xenology again, and I'm just using the Small Strings preset. And yeah, that is the entire melody. A lot of the sounds kind of like maybe sound a little goofy on their own, but when everything came together, I thought it sounded pretty cool. So I will play just the loop so you guys can hear that. All right, now moving on to the drums. I didn't mention this at the beginning, but we're at 130 BPM for this beat. Pretty much all of the drums for this beat are from the Based One 2025 stash kit. To start off, we got this snare. It's the D-Rich 2 snare. Then for this beat, I wanted to add a faster hi-hat, so we went with the one step, and I'm using the back home hi-hat. Then I added the open hat, and this is the open hat D-Rich 2, and I just placed it on the 3 and the 7. Then we got this open hat, and it's kind of just like a mix between a chant and an open hat. Then I added another sort of like accent snare. This is the snare billion. Then we just added a couple sort of effects. One of them was this O chant and the classic like lion Pierre roar. And then we also added a kind of like crash, but it's got sort of like a chime also mixed into it. So all three of those sound like this. Then last but not least, we got the 808, and this is the 808 second hand. And I just laid down a pretty basic pattern that followed the root notes. And yeah, that's it for all of the drums. Moving over to the arrangement, I noticed usually in a lot of Devstacks beats that like he has the drums kind of playing really throughout the whole thing. There's not much kind of variation in terms of like cutting the drums away or whatever. So what I did is I just kind of took out certain drums here and there, but the majority of them are just playing the entire time. Then I also did that sort of looperator trick that I like to do. I'll put a looperator on the master and use these two presets, and it just kind of creates a cool little like transitioning effect between sections. A lot of you guys also ask like what is on my master channel. Really, it's pretty much nothing. I have this EQ that's just kind of stock. There's really no changes. Sometimes I'll boost like certain areas of the entire beat if that's needed, but most of the time I don't really even touch that. And then I also have this soft clipper that's just stock. There's like no changes whatsoever. I just put it on there and leave it. So that's really all that I use on my master. It's nothing crazy. To me personally, it's really just about like leveling all your sounds and making sure whatever you want to stand out is actually standing out and it's not like too harsh or too quiet. But yeah, that's gonna do it for me for this one. I hope you guys like this beat. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I also just posted on my Instagram story, if you're watching this on Sunday, I'm gonna do a Q&A for the next video, probably on Wednesday. So if you guys want to, you can go over to my Instagram and ask me some questions there. And I'll try to get to majority of them in that video. Also next Friday, I'm dropping Overcast 3, my serum bank. If you guys are familiar with me or kind of my history in like kit making, Overcast 1 and 2 were like pretty much the very first kits that I ever made. And they were serum banks. So this is kind of like the third and final installment of that. So I'm super excited to drop that. That's about it. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.